Did you have a question though, Elizabeth? Or?
No, I just wanted to be able to refer back to your example.
Okay, yeah. All right, so thank you for the reminder about recording. So the idea for this next lab is that you are to construct a partial I can't even say it, partial bivariate table based on two specific interesting variables that you think of, and then split it up into an overarching control variable. As I was mentioning, the elections were just yesterday. There's a ton of data that's out there that's going to be presented in percentages, that's going to be data driven. If you have zero interest in that, you don't need to pick that. You can survey friends and family. You can do something kind of more off the cuff. That is totally fine. Bottom line, I want this to be something that's fun. What you should do is, first off, if you're going to ask anybody any questions, you tell them this is for the purpose of a class assignment and it is going to be held in confidentiality, right? So start off with that. Nothing super formal, nothing big. It has to be in categorical of variables, just like we saw. So 2 different categories and 2. That's how I would keep it as simple as possible. Think of our fire example. Small and big fire, few or many firefighters, few less, little damage, lots of damage. Those are just 2 different pieces in there, right? So you could do something like gender. You could do early classmen, almost graduate, right? If you put freshman and sophomore together, junior and senior together. I'm giving ideas here on variables. Political party would be another one. Athlete, yes, no. Vegetarian, yes, no.
Yeah.
What was that? Did you have a question, Zach?
No.
No, okay. Anything that can split up into the 2 variables, that's what you want to be doing. Again, for the purpose of this class, you can plug that information into Excel and create a pivot table if you wanted to. For some of you, that might be a giant pain in the tush. That's totally fine. Then all you need to do is make sure that you sort your data appropriately. So the way you would do that, and I'm happy to share my screen here. Let's see if that would be helpful. It may not be helpful, but let's see here. This one might be a good one. Okay. This is a sneak peek as to what we'll use for the final project. Do you guys see this table? Big Excel spreadsheet?
Yep.
Okay. I would want to focus on some of these right here that are just zeros and ones, right? Like they're just simple yes, no, like gender, male, female, athlete, yes or no. Smoking, this is actually in 3 categories. Never smokes, smokes occasionally, smokes frequently. Do you live on campus? Yes, no. Do you commute? This is in terms of mileage. Anyway, we'll use this for the final project. But this is to give you an example. So if I was looking at a specific variable and I did a frequency of how many males and females were athletes, right? And I created a pivot table with it. And then I was curious then as to whether they lived on campus, making stuff up here. You would then need to make sure that you are filtering out your data so that it is divided by those who live on campus. And again, you can create a frequency table for that you can do by hand. You do not need to use a pivot table if that's more trouble than it is. The idea is by the end of it, you should have, let me get my handy dandy. Let me stop sharing this here real quick so you guys can see. There should be 2 of these kinds of table where you can literally have tally marks that says, okay, there's 4 people that are in this category and there's 2 people in this category, right? Or you could have it written out. So there's 4 here, 6, 8, and then let's say 9. Okay, where you would fill in the numbers. This is your frequency that fell into each box. These are our marginal numbers. You just add them up through here, add them up through there, right? And then you can create percentages. How would I do that? What would this box be? So it'd be 4
Divided by
out of
12.
12, right? So that would be 30%. Or if I'm looking at the variable this way, it'd be 4 out of 10, it'd be 40%. So again, it's all about how you're describing the data, right? Which way you're gonna go. So you need to create, so this is a bivariate table. You'll need to create a partial bivariate table, which means you'll need to have 2 of these that'll split up into 2 different categories to evaluate the control variable. I want this to be fun. I want this to be something you guys are interested in, which is why finding data is kind of boring. Not you guys finding data, me giving you some data is not going to be as interesting. So again, you can take a peek at any of the political data that just has come out since yesterday. Obviously, in the next week, there's going to be even more. You could take a peek at any information that's readily available online. There's a ton on social media research. That's another key word they can take a look at. If they give you a sample of 1,000 and you just want to look at 50, totally fine. If you're going to be polling people, try to aim for around 20 would be the best idea. And you can just ask them simple questions. Again, it could be as simple as gender. You can categorize age too. I think we were talking about that earlier. You could do like a less than 40, more than 40, or less than 50, more than 50. And so then you just have 2 categories for age and see if that's an impact. Levels of education, you could say college graduate or not. Again, you can make the categories fairly simple. Questions about that? So what I will need from you then is you can, and some of you guys have done this already, you could take a picture of what your table looks like, or you can create a table in Excel or in Word, and then tell me, this is what I did. I looked at the political data that came after the election as to party affiliation, who they voted for, gender, and income. And I classified income as less than 50, more than 50, something like that. And then I decided the control variable, was actually as to who they voted, had more to do with gender than it did income, right? So then I controlled for gender in doing that. So then I had 2 separate bivariate tables, one for women, one for men, that looked at income and who they voted for. Is that making sense?
Okay, yes. Now, okay, just to try to simplify it as much as possible. We're only looking for 3 different variables. Then one
Yes.
control that's in both of the tables, and then we're seeing 2 other ones and seeing which one affects it more.
Yes, so you're looking at 1 dependent variable and 2 independent variable. I can't really put my fingers all that well, but yeah. So, and the idea is that there's one like that. Yeah, I think I can actually do that, but that's, anyway. So you're looking at the relationship between an independent variable with a dependent variable, and then you're introducing another independent variable that's going to act as a control variable to make sure that the original relationship that you posited between your independent variable and dependent variable is actually a real relationship, or if it's better explained by this other control variable.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay. If you get to Monday next week and you're like, I am in deep bananas, it's not working out, I don't know where to go, I will happily provide you with some data. It's going to be a lot less fun, and it's going to require more messing around. All my data sets are 1,000 and above. That's part of the problem with that. I could fabricate data, I certainly could do that. Not as much fun as if you guys find something you're interested in. If you're an avid sports fan, tons of stats about any sport you could think of. So look through that too.
Wait, so do you want us to do
Okay.
2 tables?
Yes, because they're going to be partial tables. So in the tables, you're going to have whatever your control variable is, it's going to be split up that way. So for instance, my example just a minute ago, if I think that the way you voted, my dependent variable is who you voted for, is based on income, and I've divided income as less than 50,000, more than 50,000, right? Those are the 2 variables. But my control variable is gender, then I'm going to have 1 table that's for men only, that's going to look at income and voting, preference, and one table that's for women that's going to look at income and voting.
Okay.
Now,
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
all right. So, other side question, because you said like I'm gonna do something with sports, and there are so many like people that I could look at. What's a good number to hit? Where it's like, oh, I looked at 50 different people or 30 people.
Yeah, if you are collecting data yourself and asking people, don't do more than 20. I don't want this to be a big project. That is not the goal of this class. It's just meant to be something fun. If you're looking at data that's online, that's readily available, how many? 50 is a good number. You shouldn't go any higher than that. It'll just make the table real big. No need for it. Okay. Please contact me if you have any questions. And in fact, I'm going to add it to our page here. I have a new cell phone number. I finally got cool, you guys, and got a 616 area code number. So I'm going to put it right here as well. You guys can see that. If you have any questions, you can always text me at that number. And I'm going to also add it to our class website so that everyone has it. Doing that as we speak. Okay. Any other questions?
I noticed that on Course Connect, Lab 5 is before Lab 4. So is this Lab 5 then?
I just wrote the wrong number. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
It's Lab 4. Yep. My
So
mistake.
You still want us to turn this lab in under the November 5 through November 11 dates?
Yes. Hold on one second. Let me pull it up right now.
Right
Make
under
sure
the
that I
link
have-
for chapter 9 and 10.
Oh yeah, look at that. Lab 4 is for next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just delete this Lab 5 business. Can I do that? It should be gone.
Yep.
You refresh.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
deleted.
Yeah, so just, okay, so this makes it funky though. Let me make sure again, they were kind enough to show me how to do this bit.
So there is just one
Okay.
lab then? There wasn't like 2 labs?
No, yeah,
Okay.
you're correct. Well, there was a quiz last week, and there was
And there
a
was no
lab.
Yep.
there was
and then
no
there-
lab due for this week though. So we're still on 4.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I've got, folks. So let me know if you have any questions, or if I could be of any help at all when it comes to finding some data. Find something that's fun. Again, there's tons of stuff, even if you look at like Cosmo magazine, and we interviewed this number of people and 50 of them said this. Like, you can utilize that data. There's nothing wrong with that.
All right, awesome.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right. No problem. Have a great day, you guys.
Have a great one.